I'm Mario Cordero, Chief Executive Officer at the Port of Long Beach, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Port Update. My guest today is Robert Taylor, the President and Chief Operating Officer of Taylor Group of Companies. Specifically, Mr. Taylor is here to talk about Taylor Machine Works, which was founded in 1927 and has evolved from a family-owned business to a privately held global industrial powerhouse. The company makes machines that can be found throughout the supply chain, and some of its zero-emission battery electric cargo handling vehicles, including the world's first electric top handler, has been tested and used at a container cargo terminal here at the San Pedro Bay complex. It's also worth mentioning that during a time when viability of American manufacturing is a hot button topic, Taylor's vehicles are produced in Louisville, Mississippi. And the Port of Long Beach has great interest in working with companies that build in America. Mr. Taylor is a graduate of Mississippi State University, earning a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree. Robert, welcome. And I'm so proud to have you here because you have a great story, not only as a family-owned business that commenced more than a century ago, so to speak. Well, in 2 more years, there'll be a century.
That's right.
But you know, the hot topic again that I mentioned is, you know, making the public known that in the USA, there are companies like yourself that have really evolved in terms of building in the USA. But let's get now to my first question. Tell us a little bit about your company and your involvement in the global shipping and supply chain industries.
Yes, sir. Well, hello, and wanted to give you a big hey y'all from all the folks back in Mississippi. We thank you for having the opportunity to be here, and it's a special honor and pleasure to be with our great customers and great team members and everybody out here on the West Coast. We thank you for allowing us to be here. I'll tell you a little bit about Taylor. As you stated, my grandfather started the company in 1927 from a little mechanic's garage, and grew the company out to a regional manufacturer, mostly for the forest products industry. In the southern U.S. And then my father grew the company into more of a national company that started developing products for the container handling industry and for steel mills and for all different heavy material handling products, you know, around the U.S. and Canada and really in North America. And so I'm 3rd generation. My brother and my sister, the 3 of us, are the primary ownership of the company, but we're really proud to say that we've got 4th generation kids in the company that are running the business, running a lot of different segments of the business. And we have 8 members of the 4th generation in our business that are working every day in our business. Not only just from the founder, there's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th generation people that are out on the floor welding parts together and assembling machines and servicing machines and everything else. So it's really truly a family company, and we're proud of that, our 1,800 team members that we have around the world. So in regard to the bay here, you know, we manufacture the top loaders for the different ports and different MTOs around the West Coast, and have been doing so since honestly since the 60s. Have been, you know, developing different material handling products for container handling out here on the West Coast. So that includes, you know, top loaders, the loaded container handlers, the empty handlers, reach stackers, all the things you see picking up containers out there in these ports. And I was talking to you about the fact that it's been such a journey. My first trip to come to the West Coast when I was 18 years old, and it was to be here and to see all these machines and try to understand this industry. And so we've grown up with different generations of container handling products over these years that for sure every marine terminal operator here had something to do with, every longshoreman that ran these machines had something to do with, and we're so proud of our association. And those are the guys who really have designed and built Taylor and its machine into what it is today.
Well, like I said, it's a great story, and here we are 98 years later after the founding of this company, and we're in 2025, Port of Long Beach, as you may know, we're celebrating 20 years of leading green.
Fantastic.
That goes back to our Greenport policy that we announced back in 2005. And I'm interested in the current state of your company, given the whole conversation about emission reduction. And I'm really impressed with the conversations you're having with our marine terminal operators, including incorporating the potential of second generation battery electric top handlers. And you're having some discussions with a marine terminal operator, which Port of Long Beach strongly encouraged that we purchase those 9 top handlers in our year of leading green. But tell us, how did you evolve into the whole area of emission reduction, zero emission cargo handling equipment?
So it's been a long journey. It started about 8 years ago in the fact of the real difference of what we knew, because we had been here so long, is each one of these terminal operators had to have a 2-shift machine. A machine that'll run 4, 5, 6 hours, 8 hours would do you no good. You've got to have a machine that will run 2 full shifts with no opportunity charging. You can't stop and plug in at lunch. You can't do that. So that was our mission, was to develop a 2-shift machine. That was the biggest thing, and to be able to charge on the 3rd shift. So we did that through the 1st generation, and we built 8 machines that we were able to put into the phase of prototyping and seeing how it would work. We almost got there. I mean, we were right at 2 full shifts of operations. Those machines are still running today. They're out here running every day. But we needed the next generation, and as the battery technology improved and we were able to improve the efficiencies of the total machine itself, we created this 2nd generation machine that I can proudly say we now have a 2-shift machine that can charge in 4.5 hours to a full charge on the 3rd shift with no opportunity charging whatsoever. Secondly, we're also in the midst of doing that because we have a joint venture with another family company called Terberg that we created a need. We saw a need for a new top-of-the-line terminal tractor for different ports around the world, and Terberg wasn't a big name in the U.S. We saw them as the top quality, if you would say, the Taylor of the terminal tractors. We put a joint venture together between the 2 families and ended up building a factory here, and now we're producing terminal tractors for all the ports around the United States, and we're building a 2-shift terminal tractor for your operations out here, zero emission, 100% battery electric also. So on both fronts, even in the top loaders and in the terminal tractors, we're able to do that.
Well, like I said, it's a great story in terms of where you have taken
Thank you.
Taylor to the current day. So it's all good news, but let's talk about the challenge of that investment and, of course, the challenges that you have for a company like yours.
Well, it is a big investment, and we've put a lot of investment into this. And you know, when you talk about the investment from the terminal operators, these machines cost a lot more than a normal, diesel machine. And also, there's infrastructure challenges that you have to go through with that. We've put the engineering, from our side, engineering infrastructure in place with some really great partners. We have a U.S., and that's a big statement, a U.S. Manufactured battery with a partner called Cordero. It's a Volvo company now that we were able to do this 2nd generation with, and we're really proud of our association with them and being U.S. made battery. That makes us the only BABA, Build America, Buy America compliant manufacturer that builds this type of equipment in the U.S. And so that's really vital in the top lift, to be able to do that. But it also creates its own challenges too. And so, it costs a lot more cash to be able to have the inventory and everything to be able to do that, to be able to gear up for that. Plus, it's a situation of everybody's been kind of waiting to see how the money flows to actually place the order. So we're ready to go now. We are in full production and ready to go in bigger full production to gear up and build enough of these to supply the demand out here for the West Coast.
Well, you mentioned Buy America, Build America. Taylor is certainly ahead of the time in terms of how you were very proactive on that. And of course, in today's world, given our current discussions of bringing manufacturing back to the United States at whatever percentage that is, but you're in the forefront. So with all that, what would be your advice to other companies in terms of how we move towards this base of manufacturing here in the United States? What advice can you give?
It's a challenge. The supply chain is at a different cost level, and so it's a challenge to build in here. We've stayed here, and I think the reason that we've been successful in staying here is because of two things. I think it's because we listen to the customer, and when we've been able to develop specific needs. I can remember when we went from 4 high to 5 high to 6 high. We've developed the top spreaders, a lot of pain and heartache and time and money and welding and redesigning products because we listened to the longshoremen and to the marine terminal operators to do that. So you got to be willing to pay the price for a niche product to be able to do that, and we've stayed that. Secondly, is because of our number one goal is service, is parts and service support. We are still supporting products back to the 50s and the 60s, believe it or not. And we actually manufacture parts, from back in the day. And to have that product support and to have that parts and service support, along with our partners out here on the West Coast, Calift down here, and Hamry Equipment, and Taylor, the Washington Lift Truck, forklifts, all the different dealers and distributors that we have been vital to being able to support that product. So it's about building a really good product, but it's also about supporting that product really well, and that's always what we've been proud of. We named our product support company Sudden Service Incorporated. So if you're going to name your company Sudden Service Incorporated, you better be good at it.
Well, it sounds like you're talking about the inventory model of just in case.
Yes,
as
exactly
opposed to
right.
Just in time.
You're right.
I think this is one of the lessons learned from COVID.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see as we move forward with this tariff policy discussion where this lands. I tend to be positive that at some point we're going to have a surge of imports again once the parties, the main parties being the U.S. and China, have a meeting of the minds and move in a pragmatic approach, because it is a big impact on global trade.
Yes.
But let's move on to the question about how do you see companies, American companies, particularly family-owned companies, best positioned to move towards this investment? In other words, is there a reliance on funding programs?
I think the biggest thing that could happen for U.S. manufacturing for us is the things that are being talked about right now, about bringing back some of these tax incentives that incentivizes us as a manufacturing to invest in buildings and machine tools, because it has been some lost, and by bringing that 100% depreciation back, so that if we do invest, we've got a way to pay for that investment is huge. The deregulatory conversation is huge. We all want to be good stewards of the environment. We all want to be good stewards of our country, but we don't need to be mired down in red tape to be able to do that. So being really pragmatic, about being kind to businesses, that we are the employers, and feel like it's appreciated by being a manufacturer. We talk about some of those jobs that we've lost. We still have those jobs. We weld, we machine, and we cut metal. So it's very vertically integrated. So we're training new people every day. So being able to, for workforce development of training those people, there are kids out there who that's what they want to do. They want to do these jobs. We want to make manufacturing sexy again. And that's what we're all about in building machines in America, and building, continually to train and do that. So regulation, the tax advantages, and workforce development is a huge part of all of that.
Well, I think those are topics of the day, whether you're in Washington, D.C. or in California, essentially streamlining process.
Streamlining process.
Which has been something that the business sector has been advocating, and I think it's timely that we move some metrics in that direction. So we talk about Taylor and manufacturing, the top handlers, and other products that historically that Taylor has produced. Here we are now in a tariff environment. How has that, well, let's put it in perspective. We're within 30 days of the April 2nd announcement that was made. Things have changed. We still don't know ultimately where this ends in terms of tariffs. But how has that in the short term impacted Taylor?
Well, you just said it. We still don't know. We run all the scenarios, and we are still waiting with bated breath to see, because even though we're a U.S. manufacturer, you know, we have axles that are made in Europe, we have transmissions that are made in Europe, engines that are made in Europe. So it will have a definite impact on us as if there's not some deals made. We are counting on deals being made, you know, for our manufacturing and to be able to do U.S. fair and deals that are made. So it will have an impact that we see, but we're proud to stay in there. We feel like there will be the right decisions made, and we will look forward to going forward. But we are a U.S. based manufacturer. Although it's kind of interesting. A year ago, this past February, we also purchased another manufacturing company in Italy called CVS Ferrari, and so we're making our entrance hopefully into Europe, into some other markets, and so all of these things affect us in a lot of different ways. And I mentioned a joint venture with a company from the Netherlands with Turberg. So all of those things, the tariffs are higher on our agenda for conversations right now. So we look forward to seeing what the outcomes are.
Well, great to see. And again, despite the challenges, I love your optimism here at the Port of Long Beach. We're following the same path in terms of, okay, at the end of the day, we need to be optimistic. The administration, I'm sure, has some legitimate concerns and issues that need to be at the table. So let's step back and let this play out.
That's right. You know, my dad had a saying. He said, "We will be successful with conditions as we find them." So whenever we figure out what the conditions are, that's when we'll be successful. So we'll figure it out.
Well said. And I think your dad was a great prophet considering the times that we're in.
That's right.
So let me touch on what you were just referencing, the global commercial component here. And for Taylor, what's your outlook? And well, number one, how much of your business is overseas? Because we talk a lot about the impact to imports.
Right.
That is, I'm talking about the current tariff discussions. But there's also an impact to exports.
Absolutely.
Because for every tariff you put in place, there's a potential retaliatory tariff, and we've seen that clearly in terms of the dynamics of USA and China on that topic. So what's your extent of overseas business, and of course, what's your outlook?
So historically, if you would look at Taylor, you would look at basically a domestic, North American producer of lift equipment is what we've been known for many years. A few years back, we really concentrated on expanding that footprint to the Western Hemisphere. So we have physical employees, stores, and different locations in Mexico, 3 locations in Mexico, now a location in Panama, a location in Colombia that they are Taylor employees that do. So, and we've made a good impact in those areas. Now, and then, so prior to all of that, we were probably only about 10% of our business was outside of North America. Now it's grown, to in the 18 to 20% range. And as I said, with the addition of our purchase in Italy, now with the footprint, it just literally made us turn the world in a red footprint, so that we were able to have distribution all over the world now. So that brought our percentage up to in the 25 to 30% range now. So the international market for Taylor is a really important part for our future and where we're headed for the future. We truly feel like producing and designing and producing the right product, and we still believe that product support and service is the most important thing, and that's how we're going to go forward. Now, we're doing it a little different. So we We produce units for the American market, for the North American market, some for the Central American market. That's mostly of our Mississippi designed and made product. We also, have the Italian product that at a different level that we're able to provide to customers, and we also have Asian-built product, for our international markets that we're able to support customers with. So we feel like going with that multi-pronged approach in regard to economics of pricing and different specifications and different types of equipment, we have a real bright future for our world market that we plan on concentrating on for the future. So, see, the future's bright for Taylor. We're looking forward to it.
As is for the Port of Long Beach. So,
That's right.
This gateway, referred to as the San Pedro Bay Complex,
Yes.
which consists of both Port of Los Angeles and Port of Long Beach, the largest container gateway in the country.
Absolutely.
No one approaches half of the volume that we move here. But I would imagine that the port sector is a big target for Taylor.
Absolutely.
So,
Big part of our business today.
So in terms of industrial lift machinery, what's your outlook with regard to that particular product? Not only here in California, but in terms of whether the other domestic ports or the global commercial component, do you see opportunities there?
Absolutely. We see for Taylor, we see tremendous opportunities that we continue to grow that. Our product is different. Our product is human operated. So our product is at a particular place, has its place in the scale of all these different ports. But we always feel like we are the most flexible product, that we can make a container terminal run and be flexible and be able to answer the challenges that are in every marine terminal operator's quest. So, again, we feel like the future is bright for that type of equipment. We're continually looking at ways and different technologies to make it easier for that operator to do his or her job. But we continually see new opportunities come to us every day in different parts of the world. So we've got a lot of different things that we work towards in doing that, and being able to maintain those and to be able to see those through telemetrics and see how the machines are running. We can see that straight from Mississippi and see how these machines out here are running and what kind of problems they're having. We actually have what we call a war room where we have people sitting there watching the machines to see how they run, and so that we're able to proactively give the customers the service that they're looking for and need.
So Robert, this is going to be my last question.
Okay.
And again, thank you for the time that you've taken here to be.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Let's talk about Mississippi. When I was in Washington, D.C. as chairman of the Federal Maritime Commission, I had the opportunity to meet a couple of times with Senator Wicker, who's a great supporter of the maritime sector.
Absolutely.
So my last question, I'm going to give you an opportunity to brag about your alma mater, whether it's Mississippi State or Mississippi as a whole. I mean, tell us a little bit about Mississippi.
Well, Mississippi is the best kept secret around. We are a great state. We have a beautiful state. It's only time it's bad is July and August. You don't want to be there in July and August. It's too hot. But we have wonderful people, the kindest people that you've ever seen, and with some of the most forward-thinking economic opportunities that are going on right now. I mean, whether it's data centers or whether it's manufacturing like Taylor, it's a brand new aluminum mill is being built, is coming online there. We make steel, we make cars, we are a manufacturing-based state. People don't think don't think much about Mississippi, but if you come and you see and you visit, just don't stay, but if you come and see and you visit, you'll see that there's so much innovation and creation. Mississippi State's my alma mater. We love all the universities there in Mississippi, but most of our engineers come from Mississippi State, so it is a truly very integral part of us. We're very involved with the engineering school there, and we're happy to support Mississippi State and what they do from all their different venues that they serve. So Mississippi is truly a great state. It's a hospitality state, and the people there, I think if you'll see, we've had, I'm going to say more than hundreds. We've had thousands of our guests from the West Coast come there. And I don't think anybody's left unhappy or not full, because we're going to feed you and we're going to make you happy when you're there. So y'all come visit us there in Mississippi.
Well, I can see that's in your DNA, the Mississippi state of mind.
Absolutely.
And I said that was my last question, but I can't leave the interview with asking a sports-related question.
Ooh,
So,
may not be my strong suit.
who's the best football team, Ole Miss or Mississippi State?
Well, this past year it was for sure Ole Miss. Mississippi State, we've struggled a little bit, but we're trying. But definitely this past year, Ole Miss. It pains me to say that, but that's just a fact of the way it is right now. But we love all our schools. Mississippi Southern is another one, so we love them all. But
Yeah, Jackson State.
Jackson State, man, Jackson State did fantastic here a few years back. So really, and it's a great school too. So we have a lot of good
Robert,
ones.
thank you so much for appearing here at the Port Update. And
I want to say I do want to say one thing. I never leave that when I talk to a customer, and I want all of our customers here, all of the guys and gals that are operating these machines and everything. I want you to know how much we appreciate your business. We appreciate what you mean to the people of Mississippi, to the people of a little town called Louisville, Mississippi, and all our team members. We thank you for the opportunity to serve you and design good products for you and what you need. And that's our mantras. We design and build what you need, and we'll continue to do that. If we're allowed out here in the Bay Area, so in San Pedro Bay.
well, thank you, Robert. And of course, for the Port of Long Beach, we look forward to that second generation.
It's out there, baby. We're
battery
ready to go.
electric top handlers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This is it for Port Update. Thank you for joining us.